Hi, welcome to the Spiritual Connection Show. I'm your host, Katie Augustyn. So, I am the spiritual head of the Transformation Center CT, which is located in Westport, Connecticut. I'm also a shamanic practitioner, I'm an energy healer, and I'm a transformation coach. So, I have a lot of different modalities that I use to help people. And we do all of this at the center. We have individual sessions and healing and coaching. We also have workshops, we have trainings. And once a month, on a regular basis, we hold satsang, which is Sanskrit for in the company of the truth. And right now, we're doing it on Zoom, but we hope to get back to doing it in person soon, maybe outdoors this spring and summer. But we do it usually the last Wednesday of the month or the third or fourth Wednesday, depending, and it's in the evening. It's just an hour to be together and just share stories. We talk about different topic, maybe it's about freedom, things like that. And then we also have a beautiful guided visualization that my colleague Rada, Kathy French, does for us. It's always very moving and enjoyable. And we finish off with chanting. So that's a really uplifting part of the evening. So you're welcome to come anytime. It's for beginners, it's for whoever wants to come. And there's no set fee. You can do a gratitude offering if you wish, but it's really a community service that we like to provide. The other thing that we do every month is a shamanic clinic. So, since I'm a shamanic practitioner, it's really an opportunity to introduce you to what shamanism is all about. And the way we do that is we offer half-hour sessions. So this is like just maybe a little bit less than half of what a normal length shamanic session would be, but you get a really good sense of it. You get an extraction healing, and it's really beneficial, like any energy healings would be. So you can sign up for that on our website. I'm just going to put up this slide that has our URL and contact info. So this is, and my spiritual name, by the way, is Mataji. So a lot of people call me that. And so this is our website, transformationcenterct.com, and our Gmail and phone number. So if you're interested in any of those things, all the info is there on our website. Okay. So thank you. And so thanks for being here today for the Spiritual Connection Show, which, as you know, is all about connection. I love to meet new people and find out what they're all about. And so you can connect with them and you can connect with your own spiritual self and, learn from my guest. And I'm excited that today my guest is SherryD'Elia, and I'm going to tell you a little bit about her before she comes on. But welcome to the show, Sherry.
Thank you so much for having me, Katie. I'm excited to be here today.
I know, me too. I'm really excited. All right, so I'm going to put up a slide with Sherry's contact info, and I'm going to read a little bit about her since you have not met her yet. So SherryD'Elia is the founder and owner of Holistic Psychotherapy. She's a licensed clinical social worker. She's trained in trauma resiliency model levels 1 and 2. She's a certified emotion code and body code practitioner, which we're going to learn about shortly, and a certified flower essence practitioner. So she's another one that has all of these different modalities that she can offer to you. And Sherry holds a master's degree in social work from Fordham University. And she's been doing her practice for over 30 years. So I'm so honored to have you on the show.
Thank you so much.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think we've met in person yet, but we've met on Zoom a few times.
A few times, yes.
Yeah, through the TLC network that Please runs.
Which is great to connect so many people with each other.
Yeah. Yeah. So, I always start by asking my guests the first question. Can you tell us a little bit about your spiritual journey, how that evolved, how it started, or whatever you want to share?
Certainly. So I knew I wanted to be a therapist since I was a teenager. I was always the person who everyone came to with their struggles. And when I was a teen, like I said, my friends would all come to me. And when I was a teen, my parents called my sisters and I into their room. I was 13 years old and it was pretty serious. And my mom, we all sit in a circle. My mom said, tell him, Russ, tell him, Russ. She's elbowing my dad. And he says, I'm leaving you girls and your mother for another woman. And my sisters start crying hysterically. And I said, well, if you're not happy together, then you shouldn't be together. And I was like, look at this. I'm just a teenager. I've got this, So fast forward a few years and I finished high school and college and I applied to grad school. And I said to myself, I wrote my essay and I wrote it about how this moment in time and how I knew I was always meant to be a therapist and how I handled this so well. And I was for certain I would get in and they would be, excited to have me. So I got in and I was happy about that. And then I started to practice seeing people individually and listening to their problems. And Katie, it was like I was at a multi-pinball machine. I don't know if you've ever played pinball, but I was triggered left and right, hearing all of these stories that people were sharing with me. I would go home and I'd get in bed filled with massive anxiety, depression. I wanted to quit. But I soon realized that all of these triggers that I was experiencing, listening to other people, were helping me to tap into my essence, parts of myself that I lost along the way in my childhood because of the conflict with my parents and their troubles and the trauma that I experienced from my childhood. The way I adapted was that I disconnected from myself and I just didn't connect to my true feelings. And that is how I got by.
Oh, interesting.
And I focused on other people, not myself.
Mm-hmm.
And that this journey of being a psychotherapist, not only was I going to help other people to connect to themselves, but throughout that journey, every client I met was going to help me to reconnect to my essence. And I have lived my life ever since then, that moment, with every trial, tribulation that I've ever faced. Anytime I had a deregulated response, that it was an opportunity for me to heal and reclaim a part of myself that I have lost along the way.
That's amazing. That were quickly aware of that, and that you could make it work for you in a way that was totally healing and beneficial. That's awesome. Yeah. So, so there wasn't anything that because you had the training, you knew what to do when you got triggered.
Well, I did have a supervisor who said to me, who really trained me to look very deep at what was happening. So she said, I said, I can't do this case. It's too hard for me. She said, she taught me that it was an opportunity to look within and just help me to hone that skill. And I find that there are many different types of psychotherapists, and many times people quit because they get triggered and can't tolerate what's coming at them. So I found the only way to really be able to hold the space for people is to do my work alongside of them. And anyone that I struggled sitting with, and if I started to dissociate and disconnect, it helped me to realize, okay, it's tapping into something. And I have certain questions that I would ask myself to help me to thread what's happening in the present back to the past. And I teach all of my clients to do the same thing too, that everything is an opportunity to reconnect and to heal.
Yeah, that's absolutely true. I totally believe that. One thing that I've learned is that, I was told this, and it turns out to be true. I think that whenever we feel like we're triggered in the present, it's not about what's happening right now. What you said or what I said, it's something that tapped into our old trauma, our old
Exactly.
that got stuck, right?
Exactly. So I'll ask people, when they get triggered, what are you thinking with related to this example? What are you feeling? How might it be familiar? I help people to understand their template from their family of origin and how it influences everything they think, feel, and do. So it's very, like I was saying, it helps people. I help people to look at how everything influences our family of origin influences everything we think, feel, and do. And it's not necessarily just what's happened, but it's our perception of what has happened. And no matter what our childhood looks like, none of us get through childhood unscathed. It's the human condition. None of us leave our childhood with 100% security.
Yeah,
And
true.
yeah, and you can have a great childhood with not a lot of trauma, or not a great childhood, but either way, you're going to not be 100% secure because no parent can provide it because of the human condition. I like to give a little example about siblings. And imagine, the firstborn, it's like the king of the castle or the queen of the castle. And 2, 3, 4 years later, sibling number 2 comes along. So think about this for a second. This is how a child feels. So let's say you're happily married, madly in love with your husband. And he comes home one day and says, "Hey, Katie, this is my new wife. She's going to live here with us. And I love you just as much as I did yesterday, but I love her so much too. And I'm going to sleep with you on Monday, Wednesday, and Friday, but I'm going to sleep with her on Tuesday, Thursday, Saturday, and Sunday because she's new around here. So I'm going to give her a little bit more time. And if she's struggling because she's new, no matter what I'm doing with you, I have to get up and tend to her." That is what happens to children when their new sibling comes into town. Their entire source of security just gets ripped out from under them. I don't know about you, but I would tell my husband to take a hike, or I would probably want to kill him or her, or some people are just like, oh. So what happens is we all adapt differently. Someone might, that old saying, negative attention is better than no attention. So one child might start acting out. Another one might become a pleaser. "Oh, what do you need, Mom? I'll get the baby a bottle," or what have you, or help you change the diaper. Another child, "Look at me, look at my cartwheel. Look at, I brought an A home, Mom, I brought an A home." Or another kid might see how stressed Mom is with all this, the new baby. They might just sit quietly and not ask for a thing. So no matter what, we all disconnect and we all adapt, and we carry these adaptations with us in all the branches of our life. whether it's with our boss, our spouse, our children, our friends, and everything. Again, I believe there's signposts along the way. There's opportunity everywhere for us to reconnect to our soul, you know.
Wow, that's really that's a great analogy that you started that with, and everything you said makes total sense to me. And I'm relating it to my family, my siblings, and my personality, and yeah, because we form these patterns,
Yes.
and nobody sees it. We don't see.
Exactly. Another thing that I say is that we go to school to learn about math and science and English and history, but we don't go to school to learn about the most important subject, the subject of ourselves. And if we can see how we adapt and how it comes from this template, it would cure the world of so many ills. The divorce rate would go down, anxiety, depression, uh, um, the so many social ills, so many social ills would decrease or be gone because of this understanding.
Right, right. It starts with understanding the awareness,
Exactly.
and then you learn what you can do about it,
Exactly.
what your options are, and
Exactly.
find out more about yourself. And yeah, it's just I think
Mm.
a lot of social ills. I mean, drug abuse,
Drug abuse, exactly. That's another
all
one.
of the
Eating disorders.
yeah, all the self-harming type of behavior that.
Yes, overworking, over exercising. You name anything that we do to disconnect from ourselves.
Yeah,
Um,
fill what we perceive as a void or a hole or something is lacking in us.
exactly. And there's nothing really lacking in us because we're really born whole, but it's this preconception because children are egocentric. They think everything has to do with them. So when mom starts paying attention to the other baby in their psyche, they think, what did I do wrong? I'm not good enough. And if people just knew that kids are egocentric and that they think that way and that it's a threat when your mom isn't there, and just had this basic education and understood that everything is an opportunity and you're not a victim, but the universe is happening for you, not to you. It's bringing these things to you to help you reclaim yourself.
Oh, that's beautiful. Yeah, if we could just be more explicit about it
Yes.
with each other, and also vulnerable. I think that's
Yeah.
very difficult, but I'm learning a lot more about that recently and how important that is.
Yes, I agree. I recently started um, teaching a workshop. It's called Discover Your Roadmap to Healing, Learn How to Navigate Your Life and Live in Joy. And I introduce people to this concept about everything as an opportunity. I teach people how to thread what's happening in the present back to the past, and a variety of techniques to help align their body, mind, and spirit.
Mm.
Because different things work for different people at different times. So in my workshop, I have about almost 20 techniques that I teach people to help them on their journey of self-discovery and healing.
Well, that sounds awesome. Is that an ongoing type thing?
It's ongoing. Right now, I'm in my fourth one, and it's 6 weeks. It's about 60 to 75 minutes each session, and it runs 6 weeks. And I'll probably take a break over the summer and then start again in September. So it has had a really good, what's the word? I think it's a really good, it's been received well. I've gotten a lot of good feedback.
Good reception.
Good reception.
I'm just going to put up your contact info again real quick, because I imagine all the info is on your website.
It is. Yes.
So I'm
Yeah.
putting that up right now,
Yeah.
and people can go on your website and contact you if they're interested to find out more about that, because I think that sounds amazing. What a great opportunity. Yeah.
Yes. And I know that people can't always afford psychotherapy because it can be expensive.
Mhm.
And so I love to offer it to a lot of what I talk about in psychotherapy, because no matter what anyone comes in with, anxiety, depression, grief and loss, trauma, addiction, whatever it is, I believe that those are all symptoms to underlying problem. So I really use my philosophy helping people to connect with themselves, with everybody,
Mhm.
no matter what people come in with. And I believe we all have a natural tendency to heal, as long as A, we're in a safe place, and B, we're we're shown how to do it. Because again,
Mhm. Mhm.
no one's teaching us how to connect
Yeah. Yeah.
to ourselves.
Right. That's a good point. I have the same philosophy. I believe we all have what we need inside of us.
Yes,
If we can just be shown a little bit about how to access it
exactly,
in a
exactly.
in a in an easier way, that it's profound. It can be profound healing. Yeah. Well, that's great. I'm so interested in all of this, and I want to hear about one thing that was in your intro about the body. What is it
The
called?
body code.
Body code. Yeah.
Yes.
Can you tell
So
us?
I've always been holistic, and I just again believe in aligning the body, mind, and spirit. And I felt like I could get people going, like, kind of 80% where they need it to go. But I felt like I didn't have a lot of techniques to help release um, energy healing techniques to kind of help kind of flesh out stuff that gets stuck in the body. I do have some other techniques for that. Well, um, anyways, the body code. So the body code was developed by Dr. Bradley Nelson. He's a holistic chiropractor, and he talks about there being 6 types of imbalances in the human body. And there are energies, which are really have to do with our psyche, toxins like heavy metals, things from vaccines, for example, pathogens like viruses, mold, circuits and systems. Those are like things in our organs, our glands, nutrition and lifestyle. So he has these 6 sections, and I'm not sure if you're familiar with muscle testing.
Yep.
So the body has innate wisdom. And what you do, with the body code, when someone comes in, let's say they have anxiety or they have a pain in their knee or what have you, you can target whatever area someone is struggling with. And what you do is through muscle testing, you ask yes or no questions, and you say, do I have any imbalances in my body that are influencing my anxiety, for example? And with muscle testing, if you get a yes, then you're going to look at the maps at that point and say, okay, because the maps are divided in sections. So then you just ask, is the imbalance on this side of the map or that side? And then it leads you to the root of the problem. And then what you do is so let's say you have, it could tell you what age you were. It can tell you if it's a thought pattern that you have. So whatever wherever it leads, you then take a magnet, which magnifies thought 100,000 times, and you run it down the governing meridian, and it pulls out the imbalance.
Cool. Wow.
And it's amazing. It is amazing how it helps people to heal.
Yeah, yeah. It's very, very effective, right?
It's very effective. I have so many stories that I could share of people's who have had, whether it's a pain in their knee or anxiety, acute anxiety or depression or struggle with temper. I have even released imbalances for people with COVID. A lot of people have the lingering symptoms from the COVID from, I can't even think of the name, but from COVID in general, and difficulty breathing. And I use the body code, tap into that and release the imbalances, and then they're restored back to health.
Wow, what a great modality. So it's good for physiological, it's good for emotional, or is the emotion code different?
So the emotion code is a part of the body code.
Okay.
So again, like when we're children or when we have different experiences, it's almost impossible to process all of our emotions. You know, it's like we're running out of the burning building, and then it's like we're supposed to stop and process what's happened. But a lot of times we all just keep going because it's not fun to sit and process our emotions, and it takes courage and strength and, again, tools. And then sometimes, even someone like me who works on it on a regular basis, I can't always access everything. So it's another modality that really helps to facilitate that. And my clients love it as an adjunct to psychotherapy. A lot of times they'll be like, oh, I want to make sure we get to the body code today.
Yeah, I can imagine if it's that effective. And honestly, it sounds like less work for the client in terms of effort on their part, because they're just more on the receiving end of the clearing and the healing and the, right? Yeah.
Yes, it is definitely less work. And I think that was probably one of what I think is maybe a negative to the body code, a little bit of the negative. Not that it's less work, but again, I was talking about the idea of understanding ourselves. And it can take that piece away because you just feel better. But because of my psychology background, I could explain certain things about the body code and how it does connect to certain things and help
that makes
people to see the whole puzzle.
Yes, so you weave in all of the
knowledge
and expertise. Yeah, it's actually similar in a regular energy healing or shamanic session, because you always debrief and talk about it, what happened, what's there, what they can do about it in the future, that type.
Exactly.
Yeah. So that's awesome. So I would definitely be interested in just coming to visit you at some point.
I would love to do a body code session on you. It's a fabulous modality.
Thank you. So we're getting close to the end, Sherry. So I just want to ask you if there's one last thing that you would like to share, or anything that you haven't mentioned that I haven't asked you. We have about another minute to go.
I guess the only other thing is, besides the energy healing that I do and the workshop that I offered and my psychotherapy sessions, I also have a Dear Sherry column.
Okay.
So people could go on my website, and it's free. You could ask Sherry what your problem is, ask a question, and I will respond. It's anonymous.
Okay.
And I will respond to you personally, and then also on my Facebook page.
Great, thank you. And here's your website again, and we're going to sign off now. But thank you so much for being on the show.
Oh, thank you so much for having me. I really appreciate it. It was a pleasure, and I look forward to seeing you in the near future.
Yeah, same here. Take care.
Thank you.